Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle, and today I want to show you my favorite gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, yeast-free pizza dough recipe. If you're new here, we are a gluten-free family of 5. My 5-year-old daughter has celiac disease, so we are gluten-free for medical reasons. My son and I also have issues with dairy, so it's important for us to be able to find a gluten-free, dairy-free pizza option, and there aren't really many out there that are good. So I will link down below the recipe I use to make this dough, but it makes a really good pizza dough. It also works really well for breadsticks and things like that. So I'm gonna turn it around and show you the ingredients. This will be everything you need. You're gonna need olive oil. You can also use avocado oil, honey, kosher salt. If you don't have kosher salt, regular salt will work. You'll just use less if you use regular salt. Baking powder, gluten-free flour. I usually use the Namaste from Costco, but I was out, so I just picked this up from my local grocery store. And then whatever seasonings you like in your pizza dough. So I have basil, parsley, oregano, garlic powder, and then I do have some onion powder back here. And then I use my KitchenAid. For this, you will not use the dough hook, but you will use the paddle attachment hook. So those are the ingredients. Let's get started. So you will start with 3 cups of your gluten-free flour. Next, you're going to add 4.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Next will be 1 teaspoon kosher salt. Again, if you just have regular table salt, you're going to want to do less than a teaspoon. So I'm going to stick this in the stand mixer just to mix it up and get it combined. And it'll be on low speed. This will be also the time I add in any of my spices I want to put in. I don't have exact measurements, I kind of just eyeball it. The most that will go in is obviously the garlic and the oregano. So I'll just give that a quick mix. Next you will add in your 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Which I am actually almost completely out of, so I will also use this. Add 1 tablespoon of your honey. And then the last thing you're going to add is your water. Now, you have to read the instructions carefully because if you're using all-purpose gluten-free flour like I am, you use a different measurement of water than if you're using, say, a bread flour. So I believe it calls for 1 1/4 cup of warm water and then 2 to 3 tablespoons extra depending on how your dough looks. So I have 1 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of warm water already to go. Alright, I'm going to beat it till it's just combined, and then I'm going to move the speed up to medium for about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how your dough is looking. Alright, it's been about 4 minutes. Show you what the... So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to scrape the sides off, and then I will put it in the fridge for about 10 minutes to cool the dough because it'll be easier to use once it is cooled. Alright, it has been 10 minutes of my dough cooling. What I'm going to do now is roll it onto a lightly floured surface. I don't use it on my actual countertop because there are scratches in this, and given the material it is, it probably has some amount of hidden gluten in it, no matter how much I wash it. So I always lay down wax paper or parchment paper for a work surface to roll the dough out on. I'm just gonna work that extra flour into the dough so it's less sticky. Alright, so once it's less sticky and I can move it around without it sticking to my hands, I'm going to, you can either roll it into a large pizza crust, or what I'm going to do, because my older two kids prefer cheese on their, real cheese on their pizza, and my son and I can't do real dairy. I will make 2 personal sized pizza crust for them so they can make their own pizza, and then I'll do a larger one for my son and I, which is dairy free. And then I will take half of that and divide it again into 2 little pizzas for my older kids. And again, you can make other things besides pizza dough out of this. You can make breadsticks. My kids really like that. When I do their mini pizzas, what I will actually do is I will take the crust and I will put mozzarella cheese around it, and it will be a stuffed crust pizza for them. But I will not actually make it today because we have pizza night later in the week when my husband's working late, so it's an easy meal. But I make it ahead of time, again, because those nights can be crazy. I will make it ahead of time and freeze it, and then the day I am going to cook it, I will just pull it out of the freezer and show you what I do with that. But again, it doesn't have to be a perfect little pizza, but that is good enough for one of my kids, and then they can do their make it own pizza. So I'm gonna do this with the other one as well, and then eventually I'll do the big one and I'll put them all in a Ziploc bag to freeze them. Alright, so this is what it looks like, and again, you don't want it too thick because it will poof up a little. And you notice I don't use a rolling pin. I got rid of it when we went gluten-free because obviously it was cross-contaminated. I just never bought a new one, so I have no issue just working it with my hands. But again, that's the thickness of it. So they're all packed up and ready to go in the freezer. Again, you can make them just straight if you don't need to use them for later, but this is an easy way to make pizza crust for the future. So when it's pizza night, I can just pull these out, set my oven to 350, and cook them for about 15 minutes. But I will show you guys how I cook and prepare them in the next clip. So I just took my pizzas out of the fridge. Again, if you want to freeze ahead of time, just put them in the freezer, take them out the morning of, put them in the fridge, and they should be ready to go. You can bake them from frozen, but it'll take longer. So I'm just going to be putting a little oil on the top while my oven heats to 350. Just spread it around. And my oven is preheated to 350. I'm going to stick these in the oven for about 15 minutes. After the 15 minutes, I'm going to pull them out. I'm going to put this pizza sauce on it and whatever toppings that everybody wants. So I just put all the cheese and toppings on, and the kids decide what they want. So for the sauce, I use this because it's already got the mushroom in. For the dairy cheese, I just picked this up real quick. I prefer the Costco giant bag, but again, we're out. And then for dairy free, again, I prefer the Costco brand, but this is all my store had. So that is for the, this is the dairy free over here. So my 8-year-old and I wanted pepperoni, so I got this. This is also gluten free. And then I also put some salami on mine as well. So that is the dairy-free one. This is just all cheese, and this is regular cheese and pepperoni. So I'll put these in the oven for about 5 minutes to let everything melt at 350. So the pizzas are all done. Like I say, they look pretty delicious and they smell pretty delicious. So that is it. That is everything that you have to do to make gluten-free, yeast-free, dairy-free pizza. So I will just make this super easy, serve it with some watermelon. I'm in the process of making some salads now. I did want to show this real quick because it tastes almost exactly like Hidden Valley Ranch, but it's dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, vegan, all those wonderful things, and it's delicious. So I usually put this on my kid's salad as a little incentive to eat it. So thank you for watching.